travel constantly for work, mostly staying in budget hotels off highways where every building looks the same. Same beige walls, same humming lights, and the same feeling that no one really wants to be there longer than one night. This place was no different. It was 2 stories tall, had outdoor walkways, and a flickering sign missing 1 letter. The kind of hotel you don't question because you're tired and it's late. The clerk checked me in without much eye contact and handed me a key card for room 214. He hesitated for half a second before sliding it across the counter. I didn't think much of it at the time. The hallway outside my room felt hollow. No TVs playing, no muffled conversations, just buzzing lights and my own footsteps echoing back at me. When I unlocked the door, the room smelled faintly of bleach and something underneath it. Not rotten, just stale, like air that hadn't moved in a long time. I showered, climbed into bed, and fell asleep almost instantly. Sometime after midnight, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered, half asleep. All I heard was breathing. Slow, uneven, too close to the microphone. I said hello, asked who it was. The breathing stopped. The call disconnected. 10 minutes later, my phone rang again. It was the same number, the same breathing. I hung up immediately. Then the room phone started ringing. That sharp, old-fashioned ring felt louder in the dark. The front desk clerk sounded controlled but nervous. "Sir, are you calling us from your room?" I told him no. He paused, then said, "Sir, the calls are coming from room 214, my room." I packed and left without turning the lights off. The next morning, I looked the hotel up online. Buried in old reviews was one comment that spoke to me. Room 214 phone rings even when the room is empty. This happened when I was 15 during a family vacation. We stayed in an old beachfront hotel that creaked when the wind hit it just right. The first night was normal, but the second night, the footsteps started. It was slow and steady. It went back and forth in the room next to ours. My dad called the front desk. They told him the room was unoccupied, but the footsteps didn't stop. They went all night. At one point, something leaned hard against the wall we shared. The pictures rattled. My dad knocked on the wall. The footsteps stopped instantly. The next morning, we asked to see the room, but it was indeed empty. No luggage, no mess, nothing. But then my mom saw the wall. The wallpaper was torn into long vertical strips. Deep gouges underneath, like fingernails. That night, we were moved. At 2 a.m., I woke up. I heard footsteps. But this time, They were inside our room. I didn't move until the morning. I couldn't. I stayed at a historic hotel once while traveling alone for work. The kind of place that advertises its age like it's a feature. It had original wood floors, antique furniture, and black and white photos lining the hallways. They were of people who looked like they'd been dead for a very long time. It was late when I checked in. The lobby was quiet, almost museum quiet, and my footsteps echoed louder than they should have. The clerk was polite, but tired. I told her I needed a wake-up call for 6 a.m. I had an early flight with a tight connection. She typed it into the computer, nodded once, and handed me my key. Her smile lingered just a little too long. My room was on the 4th floor, at the end of a long hallway. The carpet muffled my steps, but the building still creaked with every movement. Pipes clicked. Something knocked somewhere deep in the walls. Inside the room was clean but cold. Not thermostat cold. Just empty. I locked the door, dropped my bag, and sat on the edge of the bed for a moment, listening. Nothing but silence. I eventually fell asleep. At 5:12 a.m., the phone rang. Not the cheerful automated ring you expect from a wake-up call. This was sharper, urgent. I picked it up, still half asleep. A woman's voice whispered, "You didn't wake up last time." I sat straight up in bed, asked what she meant. No response. Just a soft click as the line went dead. I stared at the phone for a long time after that. Told myself it was a prank, a crossed line, some glitch in an old building with old wiring. At exactly 6 a.m., the phone rang again. This time it was normal. Automated voice, polite tone. I didn't sleep after that. When I checked out, I mentioned the first call to the front desk clerk. It wasn't the same woman as the night before. Her expression changed immediately when I brought it up. She asked for my room number. When I told her, she paused, then said the wake-up system was fully automated. No staff made manual calls. Ever. I asked her what the woman meant by last time. She hesitated. Then said quietly, "The previous guest in that room also requested a wake-up call." I asked if they overslept. She shook her head. They never answered. I asked what happened to them. She slid my receipt across the counter instead of answering. Then said, almost like an afterthought, "We usually don't rent that room for more than one night." I left immediately. Later, out of curiosity, I looked the hotel up online. Most reviews were normal, but buried deep was one comment from years earlier. "Ask for a wake-up call if you stay on the 4th floor. Some guests don't wake up on their own." I never stay in historic hotels anymore, and I would never request wake-up calls again if I were to do it, because sometimes I still wake up before my alarm, heart racing.